You on it, in front of it, or clinging to the walls? Howdy folks, Amos Sewn, number 70. Today, got a couple of news stories to talk about, but in the meantime, first, I think we'll have a bit of music. What do you reckon, eh? Bit of Ash. Know who Ash is? I'll show you. That bloke.
Now sometimes I act like a fool with those dark clouds of worries inside. When we live small lives that are way too short and don't even know the reason why. You gotta stop taking life so serious. Stop taking life so serious. Stop taking life so serious. You don't even know what you have. Sometimes I worry about the future. Are we ever gonna find our way? I don't even realize that we're living in the good old days. I told you stop taking life so serious. Stop taking life so serious. Stop taking life so serious. You don't even know what you have. Just like arrow dive, dangled carrot of desire in your head. Now your heart feels just like a bowling ball as you listen to a word I said. I told you stop taking life so serious. Stop taking life so serious. Stop taking life so serious. You don't even know what you have. I told you stop taking life so serious. Stop taking life so serious. Stop taking life so serious. You don't even know what you have.
Well, that was exciting, wasn't it? Ash Grunswald is a bit of a muso from Australia early in the days. Anyway, got a bit of news to discuss. Now I've got a cool little video about a guy up in country New South Wales. Anyway, today's date, 15th of June 2023. Life moves on. The world's a wonderful place, isn't it? Except for a certain bunch of people. There was a terrible bus tragedy up in the Hunter Valley, just not far from here. It's, my heart goes out to all the victims and stuff like that. It looks like it might be like driver error or something, but you watch the media, they'll harass this driver big time. As truck drivers and bus drivers, they always seem to get the raw end of the stick. I'm not saying this guy didn't do anything wrong, despite the lots of things he did, but you watch the way the media treats it. Anyway, another one. Actually, I've got a news report. This one, the shooting of in Queensland, those 2 police officers were shot. And I just noticed, because they're going to have an inquiry, as they do, about this horrible situation. But this is what gets me straight away. The start of this item, I'll read a bit of it. Religiously motivated extremists fatally shot 2 police officers without warning within minutes of them arriving at Western Downs property last year, a Queensland court has heard. Now, I've read the whole article, and goes on a bit about the couple people that died and the neighbour that died. And it goes on to here, the investigation's ongoing, that while the Trains had little or no criminal history and worked in rural schools as teachers, committed such acts of violence will also be the fact that they didn't do anything, haven't done anything, they had no record. Yes. And it just goes on. Where a highly significant body of work is being undertaken that will continue to be undertaken in the months moving forward. In other words, they're going to try and put this on as a religious extremist type shooting. I don't know if you've heard all the theories about this shooting, but it just seems, it smells, and the so-called missing persons brief that they used to start it, that it smells. So look into it, folks, more, but there'll be an inquiry middle of next year or something. I can't wait to hear about it. And I'll bring you updates if you like, because it's smells, as I said. Some people died, obviously, a couple of police officers, which is a very sad thing. But, you know, what's really going on here? What are the government going to do to fix this? Because no doubt they've created a problem, and they'll fix it somehow. Anyway, I've been watching this site called Cafe Lockdown. Actually, where's my newspaper? Oh, there's one more thing. Yes, the thing is that the shooting, it's now called religious terror type thing. They're terrorising you, of course. Who's terrorising you? Well, I think it's not the Trains, anyway. This little video of this old man up in, I'll tell you where it is. It's from a guy that's got a show called Cafe Locked Out, and there's a link in the description. So this is one of his little interviews. He goes around places, did interviews with a bunch of people. It's quite interesting. We'll get that done, and then we'll have our special guest on, DK and friends, supposedly. We'll see how that goes anyway. Anyway, now for Cafe Locked Out, and let's see how that goes, shall we? Get the browser back up. Here we go. He looks like the average bloke you see over the fence anywhere, doesn't he? And he probably is. Just a normal Australian bloke.
Okay, we're here in Grafton.
That's right.
Jeffrey Charles.
Now, Jeffrey Charles, you've been waiting for this for 40 years.
That's correct. You're quite right there.
What made you start to wake up 40 years ago?
Well, we moved up to the Sunshine Coast and we went along to a Baptist church, and a bloke there started talking to me about one world government and whatever, and there was so much wrong with our government. And my prior younger years, I could always see there was things wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it just didn't add up.
Yeah.
So then he took me to a meeting with...
Can I just ask that you're a farmer?
Not really. I've got 40 acres up there, and we've had different property.
What were you doing for
Mainly involved in the health food industry. Okay. Marilyn's a herbalist, and we've had health food stores with a practice.
I'm really trying to ascertain the critical thinking, because some people don't seem to have it and other people have it in spades. So you're saying it didn't add up. So you've had critical thinking in your DNA for forever.
Yeah, and I'm self-taught herbalist.
Yeah.
Self-taught law. I left school at 16 as soon as I was old enough to leave.
Yeah.
And that's start of the year, February.
Which is probably why.
But yeah, absolutely, couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And we love to grow our own and garden properly, using the correct methods rather than artificial stuff. So yeah, all the way along, we can look back and we've been guided and directed. And there was Eric, we went to these rallies, talks or whatever, and it opened my eyes up to even more. But no one wanted to know, but our church didn't want to know, and they thought the guy that introduced me, that, he was an elder there, but they thought he was crackers. So it's been a long journey there, and it wasn't until... But I've kept learning the law. I studied the Constitution, and yes, we can use that, but that still goes back to fraud. So you can go all the way, even the Magna Carta was done under protest and duress, and which is fraud, null and void. But we should be under natural law.
Tell us about natural law.
Natural law is inherent in us. We know right from wrong. Even animals will know right from wrong. The dog, if he comes up and grabs your sausage off the sizzle or something, he'll look at you and he'll know, and he'll... it's there, but it's been pushed down, and education is...
And the fundamental principle of that is do no harm.
Do no harm, do not trespass. And if you do by accident, you come up and you provide a remedy and forgiveness. So that's all you need. It's so simple, so basic, and you need to then understand the word property. Property is not just your block of land or your car or whatever. Property is everything that is yours, exclusive use to yourself or your partner. Like Marilyn is my property, and I am Marilyn's property. Okay. And our children are our property. They are not children, they are our property, our offspring. But minute you call them children and yourself a parent, you're stepping into the legal fiction world where you are just the parent. So if you understand that word, you're renting your kids and they're giving you...
Wow, never heard that.
Well, that's why child... whatever socials can come and take your kids away if they get a complaint. And if you don't know who you are, a man or a woman, because that's what we are. We are a man or a woman of mankind. Not humans, not person. Person was created through the birth certificate after you were born, a few weeks, and that's why you probably heard about your all caps and all that, the variations of your names. Well, that's a false image, a false persona. So we got to know that, and we can use that to our advantage, but we also got to know that we got to stand up as a man, because all the laws, or so-called laws, only apply to the person. If you look at all the legal acts and statutes, it's the person. Never mentioned man or woman anywhere in any of those. So...
You think this is why they're pushing transgenderism?
Absolutely. Confusion, and you pick your gender, whatever you want to be. Oh, good, I'll have that colour. And that's what, absolutely. And it's getting us further away from our Creator. I firmly believe in a Creator. I don't have anything to do with religion. That's man-made once again. But I firmly believe that this didn't happen by accident, by design. And we're given free will, and we've made a mess of it. Can't blame him. Blame ourselves.
But it's a double-edged sword, free will, isn't it? It can be used to destroy us, or we can wield it the other way and liberate us.
Absolutely. And that's what we've got to educate people, so they know who they are and who they're not, and then know the difference between legal and lawful, because there's a huge difference. Legal is undoing of the Creator's law, natural law. whereas lawful is purely natural law or the law of the Creator, the basics. Do not trespass, do no wrong, do no harm.
So is this natural law written anywhere, or is it just you feel that people know it intrinsically?
Well, we should know it intrinsically, but as I said, we've been brainwashed and conditioned and watered down over the generations that critical thinking's not there, So, but there are a lot of people that are slowly waking up and wanting to learn. And
do you have a website or any way they can contact you if they want to learn more about natural?
I deal through emails. My only contact. I don't have a mobile phone. Maryland did away with that. So email, and I get invited, and I do it by donation. And I'll hold a day workshop or a weekend workshop where I can go through and teach all of that and give the evidence to support it.
Well, I'll put your email in the description when we put this up.
Yep,
I'll get it off you before you go. So when you saw COVID coming, you were one of the ones that could see what was happening, where the rest of us were basically like American soldiers or Navy soldiers at Pearl Harbor. We didn't see what was coming.
Yeah, well, that's right. Having our background in natural health and studied that really well, we know a flu is actually the body's way of cleansing, like a spring clean. And when you meet other people and they are having what we call cold or flu, suffering that, our body will communicate, because we're electric beings as well. That's why they have MRI and all the scans up there. They testing our electrical signals through the body. So we can, then our bodies will communicate and they'll say, well, that's a good idea, I need to cleanse. I've got a lot of junk in here. I started life after I left school, went Jackaroo, and I became a boilermaker on the railways. My health went downhill that whole time because of the fumes and being young and silly and not eating right and drinking and all that sort of. I got flu after flu, and I realised, well, you went to the doctors and then it made no difference. You still, and then gradually we worked out that get rid of the rubbish out of your diet.
So take responsibility for your own health.
Take responsibility, and I haven't been to a doctor in over 30 odd years for my health.
Yeah, wow.
Marilyn broke her arm a few years back, and that was the only time she went.
Yeah.
And so, we've taken full responsibility for our health. We homeschooled our child, our boy, and everything else, we look after our property, we grow, and we do self-sufficient pretty much where we are.
Why do you think people seem to have no respect for how incredible our body is and its immune response? Because it's not just white blood cells, it's multi-layered.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely brilliant.
It is. I tell people, you cut yourself. You don't even have to wash it. And it will heal. Yeah. It will close up and it will scab over and away you go.
Yeah.
But all I do, I just put a bit of cayenne pepper on it to stop the bleeding, put a Band-Aid on it if need be, and off you go.
Yeah.
I used to, we still got horses, but I used to shoe my own horses, and one day put a nail through and you break off the last half inch when it comes through.
The nail went through your hand?
No. Well, it did eventually, but it goes through the hoof, like going through the end of your fingernail to hold the shoe underneath in place, and then you bend and break the portion that come through. But before I could do that, the horse ripped its leg out through me and cut right across there with that half-inch nail. All I did was drink plenty of aloe vera juice, put cayenne pepper on it, aloe vera and mainly aloe vera, I think. I probably drank a couple of gallons of it over a number of days. Nothing else, and it healed, never had a problem.
Well, the interesting thing is, because I've met the Indigenous and they say our pharmacy is all around us. But that makes sense. We're born off this planet, so why wouldn't the ingredients around us help us?
Absolutely, and so many things that we call weeds are actually herbs that are good for your health.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. It's so much out there, and it's been taken away from us, that knowledge. It's separation from the education system, and now look what they're teaching them.
What are your thoughts on the compliance that we're seeing, the mass compliance, with now there's people lining up for the 5th jab?
It's beyond me, the comprehension that it's like in Scripture they talk about people will be blinded by, not physically blinded, but they can't see the reality, and they are just so conditioned, we've got to do this, And just at Sunday at the Forest of the Fallen, one of the ladies commented to me that was looking after the place. She said, one lady was going through looking at me, and she walked up to her and just looked at her, and she made a comment, and the old lady that was looking at them said, you've got the wrong ones up. You should have the ones that have died from COVID. There's millions of them died. And she was gobsmacked. She couldn't...
But there's not millions.
No,
millions
I
haven't
know.
died of COVID. I've talked to nurses who worked through that period. The hospitals were empty. That's why they were doing the dancing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. But the media has done a very good job of conditioning people and brainwashing people. And the stupid part is people will not even question it. They are so fixed on that whatever you say is rubbish. It's like come from the CIA, that conspiracy theories.
I know it would take a long time, but how do you think society could change that natural law was actually reintroduced?
I believe faith, restoring your faith in the Creator, whatever people want to believe. I'm not here to tell anyone what their Creator is. I know my Creator, and that's between me and my Creator, and it's between you and your Creator, or anyone else. But it's definitely that. And not to create another sovereign to have over you. No good having another king or trying to fix the current system up and putting new people in there, shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic. We've got to gradually somehow or other create a new simple system and start again with that. Putting responsibility back on everyone. You got to be responsible for yourself, your health, your whatever, and and it will happen.
Well, if it won't happen now, it'll never happen. Because we're sitting here watching. They're changing people. There's mRNA. There's humanity is under attack right now.
Absolutely, and I totally agree. I think we're at the real pointy end, and it needs enough people to come back and just acknowledge that, yes, we're sorry we stuffed up Creator. And I think once there's enough have done that, then there'll be a big shift. He'll open eyes up and we'll see more people coming out and doing this sort of thing, what you're doing, and teaching people to know who they are and who they are not and why it's happened.
How do you, just to finish, you said you teach people how to know who they are. How do you go about that?
Well, just like I'm doing now, I give a lecture or a workshop, and I just stand up and I don't read from anywhere. It just all comes out, and it's those words. I'll ask you a question. How many written letters are in the English language, in the alphabet?
I think it's 56. Oh my God, I'm going to look like an idiot now if I get it wrong. 52 or 56.
Well, I'm glad you said 52. Most people say 26 because you've got 26 lowercase, which are the true ones, and then you've got another 26 uppercase, which belongs to the legal system. Okay. That's why you'll see on your driver's licence your family name is all caps, and that puts you that's a person, an entity, and there's all variations of that. from a Commonwealth government, you'll get the whole name, John Henry Doe, all full capitals. That's a maximum loss of status. You're basically a free-range slave with no rights, no privileges, and that's what
Free-range slave.
free-range slave. That's what we are.
It's powerful words, brother.
Oh, well, it's so true, and people just don't realise it. But that's where they are, and I'm not. And it's no good crying out for our freedom. We are free. We've got to tell these clowns that they are free too. It's up here. You can be stuck in jail, but you're still, if you're up here free, you're free.
Nice bus, that. Speaking of which, folks, the bus is getting close. Very close. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Anyway, now, let's try and get DK on, shall we? I'm gonna try, what are we playing with? Telegram. See if we can join the conversation over there. No, not that button. Not that button either. This button maybe? Yes. See if we can join in the conversation. Should come up. Maybe not. Here we go. We're happening. Anybody home? Hello, anybody home? And are we going to have any issues today?
There you go, bro. Right.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that's all right. And if you're here as well, go mute your YouTube thing of them, so it doesn't.
yeah, sort of dropping in and out a little bit. But,
Echo back.
yeah. So,
So we're only talking
no,
over Telegram, but we're watching on his YouTube or wherever you're watching, YouTube or Twitch. I don't know where the fuck you are.
he's at YouTube.
Oh, no, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Oh no, Alan, you're muted, bro. Turn yourself back up, bro. You screwed something up, man.
Yeah, really? My volume
On Telegram.
On Telegram. Right.
Check your mic connection, actually.
Yeah, your connection sounds a bit.
Because like you touched something before. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah. No, honestly, it's your mic connection. You might need to check if there's dust or shit inside like the mic connection and try and get it out. You just use like a pin or something and just sit in like scrape around and get all the shit out that's in it, so all the connections are open again. Because sometimes it builds up and it stops the plugs even going in fully enough.
Right. Okay.
I
Well,
know. Here's a handy tip just for me.
okay. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, you're all good now. Yeah.
What's the music going on in the background here somewhere? What's that?
You've got the extra screen
Oh,
on
right.
the screen though.
Yeah. Right.
Of us on the screen. Oh, on the screen.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Another.
Yeah, I don't
Another
feel in the
example
mood. I don't feel in the mood to be pretty and on screen tonight. I can if you actually want.
So no. If you don't want to, mate, that's cool. No worries.
Like, if you actually ask, I'll do it. But I don't.
Okay, go on then. Put your face on camera, because otherwise they're seeing two of me. Yeah. I'm pretty good looking, and I know, but I need something to compare.
I so don't feel pretty. No, I haven't got my heels, my lippy and stuff on.
So you're chickening out, are you? Yeah, well. Anyway,
Jeez.
oh, you're breaking up big time, mate. I can hardly hear anything that's happening there.
Um,
Yeah.
that's what I mean, yeah. Your mic port or whatever might actually be like.
Okay, well, I'll take my headset out, see what that does. Right, anything now? Probably not. Yeah, doesn't seem to want to work. This is great live television, isn't it, folks? Come on, wake up. We're outside. Maybe now. Yeah, having issues. That's surprising. Try to do too much at once.